For 10 years, we've gone wheel to wheel in the fastest, most furious battle on earth.
Who's going to be last on the brakes? Goes over the track, cuts the chicane.
But for 10 years, the ultimate prize of the Co-op Championship crown has eluded me.
Lewis Hamilton is a seven-time champion of the world. Max Verstappen is champion of the world.
But now in our 11th season, something's changed. It's no longer just a rivalry, it's a legacy at stake. 20 of the fastest drivers in the world. 2 long-time friends, but only one dream. And this time, there are no second chances. Only one will wear the crown.
The 2025 Formula One season is here, and after pre-season testing, the talking stops. New cars, new faces, and a fresh challenge across 24 rounds across the globe. Max Verstappen chases a 5th consecutive world titles, but there are a few drivers aiming to get in his way. McLaren are favourites heading into the season, but Ferrari and Mercedes will be looking to get in the mix too. The midfield battle looks closer than ever, and the unknown question mark over the APXGP team. But who will come out on top this season?
Finally, let's do this for real. Sorry it took so long. You know what these legal types are like? Yes, sir. No, sir. Here's 80 pages of needless jargon, sir. Anyway, believe it or not, this is my excited face. Come on, come on. Let me show you what we've got. So, all the usual stuff, merchandising, likeness, blah, 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 but the really juicy stuff is their expectation of you. They need you to challenge yourself all season, be the best you can be, dominate your teammate, become a legend. All that jazz. Now, it's over to you.
It's over to us as our F1 25 Co-op Career Mode starts right now. Welcome back to a brand new video and the start of the F1 25 two-player career mode with myself, Razor Racing, and we also are joined by the one and only Jamie Randall, the Spanish Slender Man. Link for his channel is down in the description. It's down on the homepage of the channel as well. But we're coming into co-op career mode with a bit of a story in our friendship in real life. We've done co-op since F1 2014. We've driven near enough every team. We've driven for Mercedes, we've driven for Ferrari, we've driven for Red Bull, we've driven for McLaren, we've driven for Haas back in their first season of F1. And to mark that little moment of driving for Haas nearly 10 years ago, we will be starting our journey with the Haas team alongside Ollie Bearman in this F1 25 career mode. We are going to look to try and have a strong season as physically possible in the Haas team. We are near the back of the field and we've got some work to do to try and move our way up the order. So the kind of season is laid out as a 50% race season, full qualifying, etc, etc, and we are going to try and make the most of it if we can in this one. Jamie Randall will be driving for the Alpine squad. We are driving for the Haas team in what will be a very feisty battle between the two of us as we both look to try and climb up the order. But the talking stops, pre-season done. Let's go into qualifying for the first round of the F1 25 co-op career mode in Australia.
And a warm welcome, everybody. We're here in the heart of Melbourne. It's Albert Park, and it's qualifying for the Australian Grand Prix.
Here we go then, the Australian Grand Prix kicking off the 2025 co-op career mode for round number 1 today at Albert Park, the glorious Albert Park, which has been scanned and everything in this game, looking a lot more realistic and a lot better compared to the previous games. But going into this one, I think the realistic target is to be as close to qualifying 2 as physically possible. Whether that's going to be achievable or not is still to be seen. The practice sessions wasn't too bad. We seem to be quite competitive going into qualifying, so there is a bit of confidence swinging throughout the Haas team for both myself and our teammate Ollie Behrman as well. But we're going to get out onto the track for the first time in this qualifying session, the first qualifying of the year. Many question marks as to when the teams really lay down the gauntlet and the pecking order of the teams and drivers. But we're rolling out of pit lane here for Q1 for the first time, and let's see if we can make it a good one as Lewis Hamilton goes by in the Ferrari, and then also Max Verstappen in the Red Bull car chasing the British driver down. We've seen them two chasing each other down many times throughout the years. Will we get a Hamilton-Verstappen face-off down the line in this career mode? We'll have to wait and see. But as we come out of the penultimate corner into the final corner, we're going to pull straight into the pit lane because I've noticed that the team have sent us out on about 25 laps of fuel. So we're going to come in, dump the fuel, and then go again for what will be our first flying lap in qualifying. Here we go then, the run to the line, clicking 8th gear as we head across the start and finish line, and let's see what we can do as we break now into turn number 1. We've got to be careful not to get a track limits warning and invalidate the lap on this strict track limit rule. So penalties is going to have to be one thing to watch out for. We can't get lazy in the race and lose the concentration. We have to remain focused throughout the 50% races to make sure that we don't pick up 3 track limits warnings, because that will be a penalty. 2 corner cut warnings will be a penalty. But yeah, we'll have to just keep an eye on that one and make sure we drive as smooth and as clean as possible right up to the white line, or the yellow line on the exit of the left-hander there as we fly our way down towards the high-speed chicane. You can already see the lap times coming in. Jamie in 20th. We've also got the Apex car as well, and Joshua Pierce currently holding P21. But we're coming to the end of our first lap. We're getting a little bit of understeer from Hajar's Dirty Air. We're going to pick up a bit of a slipstream as we head towards this new section of the track on the brakes into this tighter right-hander now for a couple of years. We actually got a hit into the back by Isaac Hajar, so a little bit cautious and a bit careful on the brakes, just not taking as much risk as we probably could on the brakes there, and Hajar giving us a nice reminder that we weren't on the limit into that right-hander and that we can brake later. But to the end of the lap, what's the lap time going to be? It's a 1:19.1, and that moves us up ahead of Jamie, ahead of Behrman, and ahead of Stroll into P17. However, not in Q2. With the extra drivers, an extra car goes through to Q2 in this career mode save with the addition of Sonny Hayes and Joshua Pierce. So the top 16 drivers. So Alex Albon at the minute on the cutoff as we head onto our final qualifying lap here in Q1. Across the line, we've got to find a couple of attempts to try and knock Albon out. At the minute, Alonso, myself, Stroll, Behrman, Jamie and Joshua Pierce are all out of Q2 as we head down towards the right-hander at the end of the little straight that runs between turn 2 and turn 3. Very easy to miss your breaker point, get a little bit of a lock-up, run a little bit wide, and again we run wide there, but luckily we don't actually invalidate the lap.
30 seconds left in the
A
session.
little bit lucky there that we didn't invalidate the lap, but it's a purple sector 1 and we are 6/10 of a second clear of Alex Albon in this first sector as we fly towards the high-speed chicane. We're using a little bit of overtake across this lap, but not kind of just pressing and holding it all the way down the straights. We're using it a little bit more strategically just to try and keep it a little bit more realistic as we fly through the chicane over the inside curb. All good there as it's a personal best middle sector. There's a driver moved up the order. It might have been one of the Aston Martins because Sainz and Albon are now out of the session. Jamie's also moved himself further up. He's retired and he's done his lap as we head into the final couple of corners. We just missed the apex a little bit, wanted to be a bit more aggressive over the inside curve. Out of the final corner, open up the DRS to the line. It's going to be near enough a second gain, and that will put us safely into Q2, and it's actually going to be a 6th place at the end of Q1. So we've dragged the Haas to some dizzying heights there in Q1. It's a P6 and only 0.4 of a second adrift of Lando Norris's top time. But as we roll into Q2, that is the first target done. I wanted to get into Q2, but I wasn't expecting to be inside the top 6. So maybe, just maybe, we might be able to challenge for a Q3 spot here, which would be absolute scenes if we could get the Haas into Q3. But a mistake at turn number 3, exactly what I was on about during a lap in Q2, braking a little bit later, and you could just lose all feeling, and then we get the lap completely wrong. We cut the inside curve as we got the left side of that chicane completely wrong and ended up running wide. But across the line to the end of our lap there, a 1:24.321 with 11 minutes on the clock. Obviously that lap was not a lap that counted or anything. So across the line to start our next lap on the brakes down in towards turn 3. Much better this time, a little bit more cautious on the brakes, hitting the apex and gaining a lot of time because we were a couple of tenths down on our time after the first couple of corners. But as we head into the chicane once again, we've lost a bit more time to ourselves, but we will gain that back as we come out of the chicane, and straight away you can see the delta time rocketed up to 3 seconds as we head now into this right-hander again. A little bit early on the brakes, had to be hesitant on the turn in there to not turn in too early and bounce over that inside curve. But as we fly now through the final sector, we've got a couple of drivers ahead of us, but they're going to continue on and not really get in the way. One of the Saubers peels off into the pit lane, but as we open up the DRS, a little bit slack on the DRS as well. Across the line, what's the lap time going to be? It's a 1:19.5, and that puts us at the back of the runners so far in P10. But as we skip onto the pit lane, you can see that we need an 18.3 at best to get into Q3, and obviously these guys are going to improve on their final lap of the session. Now our time in Q1 was an 18.1, so we are still a long way off what we managed, literally just a session to go. We've got 2 minutes on the clock and we need a lap here to try and get anywhere near the top 10. We're currently P15 of the 16 runners as we head now towards turn number 3, another make or break corner. Onto the brakes and to the right hander, we lock up and run wide, and that's going to cost us a bit of time. It cost us about 0.3 of a second there as we head through the left hander, getting on the power now and keep it flat all the way to this right hander at the end of sector 1. We cross the first sector, it's a purple sector 1, and we're a tenth and a bit under Pierre Gasly in P12, so depending how close he is to the top 10, that might be good enough. But as we head through the right-hander now to end the lap into the final couple of corners, 0.8 of a second under. It's a purple sector 1, it's a purple sector 2. Surely we're not going to go top of this Q2 session as we come across the line. A second gained, it's an 18.6, and it's only P14, and we're going to have to go again, but we're not on the optimal line into turn 1. We have a slide on the exit of turn 2. We deployed the ERS as we fly now towards the hairpin. We made a mistake here on the last lap. If we can keep it nice and clean, we might be alright. We do keep it better, we're much better really through there. A little bit wide though on the left hander, but we get the power down and the delta time will just about come down a little bit. We open up the ERS deployment into the chicane as a yellow flag because Jamie's going slowly on the racetrack. As we head now through this long right hander, we're going to pick Jamie out as we head towards the chicane and try and pick up a little bit of a slipstream from the Alpine car, because we are nearly 0.4 of a second down on our time on this lap, and it's not looking like we're going to get through. We're aggressive on the inside curve there. That was a really good run through the chicane, and we found a couple of tenths of a second, but we're still 2 and a bit tenths down on our previous lap. Much later on the brakes, much braver on the brakes, we get the car rotated just about, and we find another tenth of a second. We're coming back at our delta time in what is an incredible second half of the lap into the final couple of corners. We go green on the delta by a couple of thousandths of a second out of the final corner, pick up the DRS as early as possible, overtake a little bit, and it's going to be a tenth of a second gain. Is it Q3? It's not, it's P13, and we move up ahead of Jamie, and we've put our Haas car 13th on the grid at 18.4 and 18.1 that we did in Q1. Wouldn't have been good enough anyway, but wow, what a qualifying session that was, and it's going to be P13 for our first race of the season.
The winter is over. It's time for Formula One 2025. Yes, that long break that you've all been coping with so well can now be put to the back of your minds. It's on-track action and it's off-track drama. That's what we're looking forward to. The Melbourne circuit is certainly one that needs to be taken seriously. It's a combination of slippery surfaces and difficult corners, making it a very tricky track when it comes to overtaking. Drivers find it hard to pass and will need to take full advantage of those DRS zones if they want to have any hope of breaking through. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Yuki Tsunoda lines up on pole position, and Oscar Piastri completes the front row. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Albon, and Sir Lewis Hamilton, and Stroll, Gasly, Verstappen, Leclerc, and Nico Hülkenberg, Russell, Sainz, Fernando Alonso, and Hadjar, Lawson, Ryan, Ollie Behrman, and Thomas, Antonelli, Pierce, Bortoletto, and Sonny Hayes rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. And alongside me in the commentary box today, former racing driver herself, Naomi Schiff. As much as I like testing, and I do love testing, and I've really enjoyed the build-up here and all the speculation, I really want to see some action. And finally today, we get some proper action on the track.
This is always such an exciting time in the season. First of all, it's the first time they'll be racing their new cars. So that's always an exciting thing for drivers to look forward to. But also, they've had a long time off during the winter break. So it's about dusting the cobwebs off, getting the rust off of their bones, and really getting their elbows out there and having some fun.
All right, here we go then for the race, and it looks like the grid has decided to change itself. We're not entirely sure. We have been experiencing a few glitches on the F125 game. We've had a wet weather glitch where the track is wet, but visually it's dry. So there's a couple of glitches floating around in this one. But that's all right. We're going to go from P16 a bit further down on the grid compared to where we actually qualified. But it is what it is. It just makes it a little bit more of an exciting race as we've got a few more cars to overtake and try to get ahead of. So we're just looking at the strategy. The team wants us to do a 2-stop, but we're going to try and roll the dice with a 1-stop, a hard and a medium. The hard tyre going to lap 16, and it's going to be a little bit aggressive, I think, to get the 1-stop done. I don't know if it's going to be possible based off the tyre wear, but we're going to roll the dice and hope that a little bit of intervention from the race control with safety cars or anything like that will be able to play into our hands. But here we go then. We're going to roll out for the formation lap. You can see the two racing bulls ahead of us are on the hard tyre as well. Bearman behind our teammate on the medium, as is the Alpine of Jamie on the medium tyre as well. So a lot of different strategies to be had here, but we're going to roll the dice and try and do the 1-stop, the medium to the hard, and try and gain a couple of places if we can in this one. So let's see what we can do in this Grand Prix of Australia, round number 1 of the F1 25 two-player career mode. Yuki Tsunoda on pole position in the Red Bull car, the man that he replaced in the Red Bull car, starting ahead of us in the Visa Cash App RB squad. Liam Lawson just behind his teammate Isaac Hadjar, Alonso there as well, just ahead of him. So we've got a couple of cars that we can try and work our way through. Pierre Gasly being one of them as well in the leading Alpine car. But here we go then, we're slotting into the grid slot, and for the first time this season we are ready to go racing in Australia. The lights are coming on. We get 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights for the Australian Grand Prix, and we are underway. And it's a great start compared to the 2 Visa Cash App RBs. We go straight past Lawson and Hadjar and fly into P14 as we head into turn number 1. No, round the outside of Carlos Sainz. We're getting side by side. We get squeezed by Carlos Sainz, pushed right to the edge of the road, and we actually pick up a warning collision with the Spaniard as we go side by side, 3 wide with Jamie on the inside, Sainz in the middle, we're on the outside. We're going to hang it around the outside of the 2 of them, and we maintain now P13, so we're back up to where we qualified in this one. Jamie comes around the outside of Sainz as well, and both of us making progress, and we're already back into where we originally qualified in P13 and P14, so it's a good start. But it's Tsunoda, Norris, Albon is up in P3 in the Williams. Alex Albon has made an absolute blinder of a start to the Australian Grand Prix as we battled his teammate. He's got all the way through to 3rd, but here comes Jamie on the medium tyre. We're not going to fight that one too much with him being on the softer tyre at the start of this race, and we're going to let him go and try and use him as a marker for us and drag us through the order across this 29 lap race. But P14 then to end the first lap. A bit of a moment no doubt in towards that right hander, just catching the outside grass, and it's going to be P14 as we come into the final couple of corners. But Tsunoda and Norris at the mini-map there at the bottom left, with Albon in 3rd holding the pack. Them 2 are being being allowed to get away, but it's Tsunoda who leads them across the line to end the opening lap. And we are, as we say, in P14. I think we might be the leading hard runner, so we are the man everybody will be keeping their eyes on at the moment in this one, as Mark is just waffling away in the ears about ERS and DRS. But as we head towards the hairpin for the second time, we are still maintaining P14 and looking quite comfortable at this stage of the race. As the yellow flags come out behind us, it's the 2 Apex cars that have collided, so something has happened to the 2 teammates in the Apex GP cars further back. Sonny Hayes and Joshua Pierce relegated right to the back of the field if they weren't there already. But as you can see now on lap number 2, Jamie going for a big move at the final corner, and actually one of our trademark signature moves that we pulled off on F1 24 in the co-op career mode that me and Jamie did for fun on that game. We were making moves into that final corner left, right and centre, and Jamie has just demonstrated that one beautifully right in front of us as we touch the wall on the exit of turn number 2. We're going to look now for a move up the inside of Alonso, tried to follow Jamie through down the inside of the Spanish driver. We make a bit of contact with the Aston Martin, banging our front left against his floor, and then he has a big slide on the exit of the left-hander, and that might just invite us for a bit of a move, but we get a wash of understeer through the right-hander, and Alonso looks safe for now. But as we head now towards turn number 4, Jamie's on the inside of Hulkenberg, and they've both gone off into the gravel. Jamie's gone into the gravel with Nico Hulkenberg. Something has happened between the 2 drivers, and they are not out of the race but out of contention now as they relegated right to the back of the field. So something happened between the Sauber and the Alpine car in towards that high-speed chicane. You'll have to go and check out Jamie's race to find out exactly what happened to him. But that is a dramatic turn of events here in Australia. After a strong start for the Alpine driver, his race has been undone with Nico Hulkenberg braking a little bit early and catching Jamie off guard and running into the back of the Sauber driver. But it is what it is. It promotes us to P12, but we now get a first track limits warning of the race. We can only get 2 more of them, or 1 more of them, because then the next one after that is a penalty. So we need to be careful on that. But back into lap number 6 now, settling into our rhythm. We are going to try and line up a move on Alonso, who in turn is trying to get past his teammate Lance Stroll for what will be P10 and the first point on offer for the top 10. Looking at the leaderboard, Lewis Hamilton, Oscar Piastri up into 3rd and 4th position, but we're going to try and make a double overtake here on the Aston Martins. Down the inside, there's a bit of contact as Lance Stroll turns into us, but we are through and up into P10. We've passed Alonso, we've passed Stroll, and the next man on our list is actually George Russell, who started on the hard tyre as well. So Russell, the leading hard runner, and he's behind Charles Leclerc at the minute, and I think Max Verstappen there as well, still behind Gasly and Alex Albon in the Williams car. But as we cross the line to start lap number 7, we're going to try and see what we can do about this group in front and just try to latch onto the back of George Russell. It's a second at the minute, the gap, so we're just outside of that DRS zone, but we've still got the pressure from Lance Stroll and Fernando Alonso behind in the Aston Martin cars. But as we head now through the right-hander, you can see Max Verstappen has cleared Alex Albon in the Williams, or it might actually be Pierre Gasly in the Alpine car. But we've not been able to make too much progress on the leading group as Russell still sits behind Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. But we are up in P10. We're in the points here in the early stages of this race, thanks to a good start of the race, and then that collision between Jamie and Nico Hulkenberg. So Jamie is circulating at the back of the race, and he's actually out of the Grand Prix, and we have a virtual safety car deployed. Jamie is out of the Australian Grand Prix, and with the safety car coming out, I can only assume he has crashed, and now we've got a full safety car deployed in Australia, and that plays into our hands perfectly with trying to pull off this one stop on the hard tyre. This is huge for our race. Drivers are going to peel off into the pits. We're going to continue and just try to just basically eliminate these couple of laps from our hard strategy, and then just go even deeper into the race, and then that means that we'll be able to peel into the pits later and put on the medium tyre and hopefully get to the end of this race on a one-stop strategy. This is huge for our race. We come across the line and we are going to be second in this one because Lewis Hamilton on the medium tyre has decided to stay out as well. So Hamilton looking to try and pull the one stop as well. Maybe he's doing a reverse medium to hard strategy, but he's going brave and he's going to extend for as long as physically possible on that medium tyre in the Ferrari car. Has Lewis Hamilton and myself, the two Italian kind of Ferrari powered motors, have we played a blinder here in Australia? We're going to have to wait and see, because we have a big train of cars all on fresh rubber behind us as well. Pierre Gasly in P6 behind Oscar Piastri, so he's still in the mix here and looking strong in this race. As we head into the right-hander, we make a big mistake on the brakes, getting sucked in behind Lewis Hamilton, and we lose the position to Norris and we lose the position to Tsunoda. Next up is Oscar Piastri. We're going to let him go. We're not going to battle these front-running cars, because no matter what strategy we're on, we haven't got the pace to run with them. So we're going to let them go, and we're going to try and just keep our elbows out now ahead of Pierre Gasly, because we were in this battle. Let's not forget, we were on the back of this train that Gasly was leading as he sticks his nose in up the inside at that right-hander. We have to give him the room on the inside, but as you can see, the two McLarens now cleared Lewis Hamilton, who looks to be struggling in this race on the medium tyres. He continues on for another lap in this one, and now Tsunoda on lap 13 is through. Charles Leclerc comes through on us after we make a mistake, and we can let him go and battle on for fourth position off of his teammate. But we've still got our eyes in the mirrors, because Pierre Gasly is still lurking and still pressuring us in this race. Lewis Hamilton has now peeled off into the pit lane at the start of lap number 15. Gasly round the outside into turn 1. We get the elbows out and push the Frenchman wide, but he comes across us and actually brushes our front wing. And Gasly, lucky that he didn't get a puncture, but we're lucky that we didn't pick up a little bit of damage on the simulation damage model as well. But now we're under pressure from Liam Lawson on the medium tyre. He's going to go round the outside, and now we've relinquished the position to Gasly, and we've relinquished the position to Lawson, who actually brakes in the middle of that right-hander. A bit of a lift from him, and we were lucky not to be caught out there and actually run into the back of the RB car. But we're now right in the midst of the battle of the group that we was chasing so desperately at the start of this race before that safety car came out, and we're now going to have to roll the dice and decide when we're going to make this pit stop. But we're coming back at Lawson, but we opt not to make the move on Liam Lawson. There's no point overtaking him when he's on the fresher medium tyres in this race. There is no gain for us to be battling Liam Lawson. We're just going to use him as a bit of DRS and just to try and drag us away from the car, that group behind that is being led by our teammate Ollie Behrman behind Bortoletto in the Sauber car. But as you can see, again, wash of understeer from the dirty air of Liam Lawson's car. And is that going to be enough to make us pit? Not yet. We're going to continue on a little bit more. We catch the inside curb and a bit of grass on the inside, and we lose the rear of the car, and that will push us out of that DRS zone of Liam Lawson. But as we skip on a lap later to lap 16, we're still just outside that one, and that might now pull us into the pits, and we do pit along with Lawson in the Red Bull car, in the RB car. So Lawson will be our target. At least we're going to be coming out with somebody, and myself and Lawson can now push our way through, because don't forget, we are expecting other cars around us to make a pit stop. As Lewis Hamilton goes flying by on the hard tyre, he has gone medium to hards as we expected, but as we come out of the pit lane, we're down in P20 now, and we've got to hope that across these remaining 12 laps of the Australian Grand Prix, the drivers ahead are going to make a pit stop, and they aren't going to actually roll the dice with the one stop with the safety car coming out. I think we should be alright, because looking at the tyres that they've got on as Nico Hulkenberg comes into the pit lane, and this might be the first, yes, it is the first roll of the dice for the 2-stop, because a lot of cars in the pit lane, and we've jumped up to P16. So all of a sudden, we're back ahead of Russell, we're back ahead of Alonso, who we were fighting in the early stages of this race, and we've got a comfortable gap over him, and we're on the softer tyre, so we can try and make that work in our hands. All right, they've got a bit of a tyre advantage and a few laps fresher tyres, but we can try and work our way up. We're going to get a free position here from Isaac Hadjar at this stage of the race. He is out of the Australian Grand Prix on lap number 18, a mechanical problem for the RB car, and we continue to chase down his teammate Liam Lawson for what will be P13. Leclerc has come out of the pits behind his teammate Hamilton, so Hamilton actually maintained that position despite being on such more worn tyres. I know Leclerc lost a bit of time, but we've got a virtual safety car now. And lots of Merc engineer voiceovers over the top of each other there. That was very confusing. But down into the right-hander at the end of the first sector, start of the second sector, you can see that we are jumped up into P12. Only one driver or a couple of drivers opting to pit under that VSC, and in fact a few of them waiting. Maybe they were already past the pit lane line when that came out, but as we come across the line and start lap number 20, we're into P7, ladies and gentlemen. We've got the Haas car from P10, and the strategy has put us into 7th after the pit stop phases at the end of this one, and now we are chasing Liam Lawson, but we've got a breathing Max Verstappen right down our neck. He means business now on the hard tyre in that Red Bull. He's down in 8th place. That is not where he wanted to be in this Australian Grand Prix. And as we head across the line, we set our personal best lap of the race, but Max Verstappen behind, going 1.3 seconds quicker on the harder tyre. And I know that our time in P7 is numbered, but we're going to now attack a struggling Liam Lawson on the soft tyre, round the outside of him, and we are through and up into P6 now. So we gain the position off Lawson, but Verstappen is going to take that one straight back off us down in towards turn number 1 on the following lap, and the Red Bull car is through and up into P6. I said that our days were numbered. Liam Lawson's come off into the pit lane for another stop, and after there it was pretty lonely for us. Verstappen drove away, he cleared the 2 Ferrari cars in a heartbeat, and it's going to be what is a remarkable P7 for us in this race. We've made the one-stop works thanks to the safety car. 64% tyre wear. You see the left-hand side of the car, the left tyres absolutely screaming in this stage of the race, but it doesn't matter because Haas are in the points at round number 1. It's 7th place for us in the Australian Grand Prix. I will take that. Thank you very much indeed. Couple of points on the board, and if somebody said, oh yeah, that's going to be your finishing position at the start of this race, I would have taken that in a heartbeat. Walter Leto gets the driver of the day, but it's 7th for us and points for Haas.
And here he comes. It's all go, go, go for Lando Norris as he takes the checkered flag and wins.
To take the win at the first race of the season, now that is important. You get straight in to your competitor's head, and they now know that you are the one to beat.
From lights out to the checkered flag, each and every driver has this moment in the back of their mind. Now it's time for their celebrations. Our podium, it awaits. He holds the trophy aloft, and why shouldn't he? A richly deserved win today for Lando Norris.
Lando Norris victorious in the opening round of the season, 11.4 seconds clear of his teammate Oscar Piastri. Max Verstappen gets 3rd in the end after clearing myself, the 2 Ferraris, and his teammate Yuki Tsunoda, who finishes 4th. Leclerc 5th, Hamilton 6th, we come home in 7th. Albon, who made such a good start from his P4 grid slot, I actually missed that he was in P4 on the grid, he finished 8th. Antonelli in 9th from 19th on the grid, and Bortoletto there in 10th. After starting 21st. It was only myself and Hamilton in the top 14 to do the 1-stop. Lawson on a 3-stop. Hadjar, Gasly and Jamie all out of the race. So a double DNF for Alpine. We missed that one in the race as Pierre Gasly retired with an engine failure. So a crash for Jamie and an engine failure for Pierre Gasly. The championship standings, though, they remain as the race results. We've got 6 points to our name for finishing in P7, but it's Lando Norris and McLaren who take charge at the end of round number 1. Would I have expected to be coming out of round 1 with 6 points and 7th in the Grand Prix? Probably not. I was expecting to be a little bit, you know, further, maybe outside the top 10, but in that battle for, you know, maybe a point. But I wasn't expecting to pull that one off.
Okay, all the new parts have been fabricated, and we're going to have them with us for the next Grand Prix.
And that is great news. We have got some upgrades coming onto the car for the Chinese Grand Prix. So hopefully we can build upon what was a strong start to the season and carry that momentum forward as we head into the Chinese Grand Prix. But we've got 956 R&D points, so we're going to have a look at what we can do on the car. Me and Jamie keeping the R&D kind of situation quite under wraps, quite secretive. Obviously we'll see the videos when they roll out and we'll see what each other's doing, but we're going to make a front wing adjuster bracket upgrade. We're going to just start ticking them off because we are quite far down in everything apart from powertrains. So Behrman's got some chassis stuff completed. We're going to join him in that and get some cable assembly going as well, and that will be the upgrades that we're going to put in place for the next couple of rounds. Done and dusted. I think Ollie Behrman has a couple of things in progress as well, so has looking to make some gains across the next couple of rounds. But there we go, that is it. Round number 1 of the F1 25 co-op career mode done and dusted. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, hit subscribe. Make sure you go check out Jamie's race to see exactly what happened and how his Australian Grand Prix unfolded to an early end. But until the next Grand Prix, I will see you guys then. So thank you for watching and goodbye.